to the Stone Roadie Show with the world's most famous roadie named Craig Reed. He's the legend and has some great weed. He's our #1 source for our ski information, which is what we all need from the band that we love. He has a trusty sidekick, Griff, the one we know as a rocket scientist. You may see Griff on the road getting it done, which always makes the show so much more fun. Two great men doing great things for the crash survivors. Send a little money when you can if you want to lend a helping.
Rise and shine, everybody. It's time to wake and bake with Craig Reed and Griff Martin.
The Stone Roadie Show, podcast 349. Take one, roll one, burn one down, and roll 'em up if you're lucky enough to got 'em. All right then, fellow Stone Roadie Dimension. Hey, looky here, looky here. Hey, it's February the 2nd, Groundhog's Day. And you know what else is on Groundhog's Day? My birthday.
That's right.
I'm 75 years old today, and 3/4 of a century. And I got a birthday present from Lynn from Georgia. And it says rock on. Best wishes, rock on. I don't know if they're just telling me to rock on because we got somebody named Rock on. But this is Lynn, L-A-N, from Georgia. And she sent me some real cool stuff. She sent me, like TP. TP sends me these chocolate-covered blueberry things here. These are real good. And then she sent me some of these ginger chews. I think somebody was telling me about these. I was telling them that I'd eat dried ginger. And they was telling me about these. And I said, I've never seen them. I think that's who this is. And then they sent me some Hawaiian saltwater taffy. Or no, chocolate. Saltwater. Sea salt, Hawaiian sea salt chocolate.
You know what they're trying to do, Craig? They're trying to make you fat.
Oh, good. Keep on trying. Keep on trying. Yeah, that's some good stuff. Hey, thank you, Lynn. Appreciate it. Really do. And, I'm 75 today. I was thinking about joining a dating service. It's a new dating service. It's called Carbon Dating. Carbon Dating. That's funny, ain't it? Anyways, yeah. So when I went and got the mail, I got that in the mail. And then I got a donation there from our old buddy over there in Germany, who sent me this clipboard here that I use all the time, Andreas Hawk. And he sends a $100 donation every few months, and he sent one this time for this collection for the forgotten survivors. And with that, that gives us $1,055 that we've taken in so far this month. That's pretty good, and that gives everybody $201. There's 5 people, 5 ways. That's $201. So yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. We're already off to a good start.
Yeah. Yeah, so there you go. Matter of fact, in my head, that it's $211. I must have used the wrong arithmetic, but it's $10.55 Yeah, $10.55. So that'd be $211 a piece. Yeah, I was not thinking clearly a little bit ago because I just smoked a big fatty. That's why,
Hmm.
like normal. And what else do I got going on here? Um, oh, let me see. Rick Bullard bid. Oh, I'm not right together here. Should have had all this done. Did while me and Griff was jibber jabbering. He was telling me some funny stories about when he was a kid, how his dad worked his ass off. I was telling him how my dad worked my ass off, and he said, "Shit, that ain't nothing." He told me a funny story. But yeah, Rick Bullard bid $300 for this artwork here. And then the sticker we sell, it's the same sticker that's on here, with the document of authenticity. Except Brian Marshall, as soon as he saw the podcast, I mentioned I would give a document of authenticity, and I'd put your name on it if you wanted. He said, "Yeah, I want my name on it." He said, "I would never sell it." And he said, "I want that number one designation." So he got number one. So yeah, so I've had some other people. I don't have your name right here. That want the, but I haven't got paid or nothing for them. That want the stickers. So whoever's money comes in first for the stickers, you'll have designation number 2 and number 3 if you want that, and then you can have your name on them. So we'll go through all that on the document. He said, "Yeah, I want my name on the document and what it was for." So yeah, oh doggone it, I was going to write up. Well, I got one written up. I just didn't print it out. I forgot. I've been busy today. I went out my back door and I forgot to turn off my outdoor spigot. And the and and the water was shooting across my yard. The pipe broke. It was 8 degrees below zero here last night. But this is Friday. This is where we record these early, either Friday or Saturday. If we have problems, we can get it situated by Monday morning. But yeah, this is Monday morning, 6 a.m. and it's still dark here at 6 a.m. If anybody of you are watching this Wake and Bake at 6 a.m., it's still dark. So the groundhog won't be up seeing his shadow here till about 7:15 or something like that. So we'll see what the groundhog says, but he's a lying bastard, old Pontatella film. But hell, if you want to see if this groundhog saw his shadow, just walk outside and see if you can see your shadow. Be the same difference, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's the prison art. Tom Goofin, he had the second bid on it for $265, but he's the one that donated the $500 from the Cole something band. Oh yeah, and he told me to tell you that band is defunct. That picture was from a long time ago. That band's not together anymore. But yeah, so
The Cole Younger band.
Cole Younger, there you go. What did I say? Cole Younger.
So they're not around anymore, huh?
No, they don't know. Somebody wrote me and wanted me to ask them to write to do this song that they wrote. Somebody wrote a song and they wanted the Cole Younger band to perform it or write it up or whatever. And he goes, "No, we're defunct, But I knew that already. But anyways, Donald Libby, he's still got the high bids on these shirts here, the STONED Roadie shirts. These are triple extra large, and he's got the bids on these, and this one, and then the Stone Roadie on Golden Pond, and I was thinking what I should do is where did I put that doggone thing? Oh, well. Anyways, I found a Stone Roadie. Oh, here it is. A double X Stone Roadie T-shirt. So maybe, in my opinion, and then on the back it's one of the crew. So maybe what we should do is just add this shirt to the collection. You get all three of them. So and this is the double X. Those other ones are triple X. So yeah, that's what we'll do, and I'll donate this shirt to the cause, one of the crew, and we'll just add this to the collection there. And you get all three T-shirts in one.
Well, yeah, but you bid on them individually, right?
Well, yeah, whatever. I guess. Well, we were selling them both we were selling them both. Those we were selling them, but we had Donald Libby had a $60 bid on the triple X shirt, so I figured.
Okay. That was for both of them.
Mm-hmm. That was for both of them, $60.
Gotcha.
So I figured I'd add one of the Stone Roadie shirts to that, and we can just sell all three of them.
Yeah, kind of counteract that on Golden Pond shirt.
Yeah, and that way you'll have a collection. You'll have the ones that Javier Medina designed, and then you'll have the old Stone Roadie shirts. Those are pretty rare, but I don't know. They're not really collector's items, let's say. I don't know, but I wish they was. But anyways, let me see. So yeah, Tom Way, he had a bid on the he had $135 bid on the prison art, but just today I got the upgrade. Rick Bullard, he bid $300 on the prison art with the artwork and the sticker, so he's ahead of the game at that point. We'll keep that one rolling here until next week. We'll probably close that out.
Do you want to mention the fact that the reason he was in jail is because he found some lady sleeping in his car, and he got accused of.
He found some woman sleeping in his car, and she started screaming and said she'd been raped, and the cop come and arrested him, and he got what was that? He went to jail for no reason. Yeah. Yeah. I was trying to think of that song, the soldier song that Skynyrd did. I went to jail and I never stole a dime or whatever, Yeah, for armed robbery, and I never stole a dime, Yeah, something like that. I was raped, bro. I was Rayford, wasn't it? Yeah. So, yeah. So, that's about all I got going on here. I saw Johnny said some good words for Paul Abraham, said to send prayers for him here last Sunday. I forgot to mention, I saw Johnny, said he wanted to send prayers for Paul Abraham, and I haven't heard this week what's going on with him. I haven't heard anything either.
Oh.
Yeah, I was going to try to call him and I've just been busy doing stuff, and I just kind of spaced it out. But yeah, so there you go. So what do you got going, Griff? Why don't you tell them stories about what you told me, or you gonna,
Oh
whatever.
yeah, well, Craig was talking about how his dad used to work him like a dog, and I said, "Man, that ain't shit." I said, "My dad had me go to work with him. My dad had a flooring business where he installed carpet, and because he was a firefighter when we lived in Miami, and a firefighter, they have to have like another job to go with their full time job because they got a lot of like 2 days on and 2 days off, and so he used to make me go to work with him, and Craig was saying, yeah, my dad used to make me work in the garden and pick all the rocks out of there. I said, shit. I said, I was hauling waffle pad into houses and kicking carpet and scraping floors, and all my buddies on the weekend would be out riding their bikes. I'd be at work with my dad, and I told him about the time that we did put carpet in Tammy Wynette's house, Tammy Wynette and George Jones' house, and but I'm not going to tell that story on the today. I'll wait and see if anybody's interested in the comments of hearing my story about when I went to work with my dad at Tammy Wynette's house, and it is pretty. I didn't know who she was at the time, but
Well, you did work in George Jones's house. That's a funny story too.
Well, it was George Jones and Tammy Wynette. They were married, and they had a house in Lakeland where I grew up. And my dad coached me before we left and told me, "Don't be acting like an idiot and be on your manners," But anyway, Tammy Wynette did not like my father working me like a dog. And I'll tell this entire story in detail if anybody's interested in hearing it. Just let me know in the comments because I don't want to waste anybody's time if they don't want to hear it. But it's pretty memorable for me.
That's a good story.
Tammy Wynette.
They were them two are superstar. I mean, George Jones.
Yeah.
God, you can't get no better than George Jones.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was 13 years old. Everything happened to me when I was 13 years old. That's when all the most memorable times of my life is when I got stranded in the boat. I told that last story about being stranded at sea, and yeah. So I'll wait and see what the comments say. If anybody wants to hear the Tammy Wynette George Jones story, they had a house in Lakeland, and my dad he worked for like a couple designers, and he did flooring for Sherwin and Williams and Sears Roebuck and all the carpet stores in town, and he would I could see, like, when I'd be in class and I could see the road going to my house from where my classroom was, and I could see his work truck coming down the road, and I would be in class, and if there was like a couple big rolls of carpet in the back, I would watch it because sometimes if it turned into the parking lot of the school, then my grandmother would be dying again because he would go to the office and tell him there was a death in the family and that he had to take his son out of school. Well, so he could take me to work with him because he had two big rolls of carpet to install and he needed all the help he could get. So he would yank me out of school and take me to work with him. But yeah, and I got a lot of health problems to this day from how hard he worked me, from just being a little kid. But anyway, yeah, Tammy Wynette jumped his shit. That's the first time I've ever seen anybody chew my father out upside one side down the other. Yeah, she flat chewed his ass out. But Yeah, but anyway, and speaking of working my ass off, I worked my ass off around the house all day today, getting ready for the snow that's coming to Central Florida. I hear it's supposed to snow. I think it's Sunday. It's supposed to snow, and we're not set up for hard freezes, and it's supposed to be in the 20s, like 27, 26 degrees. And I had to go out and I got a lot of tropical plants that I spent a lot of money for when I landscaped my house because I'm getting ready to sell it. And so I was out there covering all the plants up with blankets and shit, because it's going to freeze, and I don't want all my plants to die. And then I'm going to have to run the water. I got to had to cover my well because it'll freeze and bust. So there are a lot of neighbors that aren't doing that, and I don't think they're paying attention. But they're going to be having an unpleasant surprise when all their tropical plants die because they're not doing anything about it. But I'll let you know how it all worked out on the next podcast, whether or not I lost anything. But back to the Skynyrd stuff. Robert Wheatley put a $250 bid on this picture. Now, we had the Kent Griffith explanation and video about this picture on the last podcast, and I ran it a little longer, and I guess Robert Wheatley saw it, and he liked that story, which was a really good story. Kent Griffith did a good job. Got a lot of compliments on Kent Griffith's video in the comments. So I'm going to go ahead and check my email right now to see if there aren't any other bids on this photo. And if there aren't, I will close it out and we'll call the highest bidder the winner, which I do not see any new bids. So Robert Wheatley, you are the winner, $250 on this. And that is a donation from Kent Griffith, this picture. And so, Robert, you are the winner. And Craig, you can write Kent's name down on one of your papers there. And we'll call this bid closed. Then, Jeff Markinette. Jeff Markinette, I believe he bidded on that picture, but he got outbidded on that. And he bidded $40 on this book. He got outbidded a couple times, but he wanted this book. So, Jeff, you are the official winner for $40 on here, and that will include your shipping, buddy. Don't worry about it. That'll be just fine. This will be a media ship. I think I can get this shipped out on media for like about $5. So yeah, you're the winner of this, and of course it's signed by Gene Odom here, and Jeff Markinette. Congratulations on Robert Wheatley and Jeff Markinette on those two items. Got a little story about Gene Odom. I went to the dermatologist this morning. They had to once a year. They usually have to hack on me because growing up in Florida. I worked on the launch pad for 35 years. I was out in the sun every day. If you could get away with it, you'd wear shorts and stuff like that. But, and then also growing up in Florida and fishing with my dad out in the boat, and he never had a bimini top. He always made you go out there and just cook like a roast. So they hack on me every time I go to the dermatologist, and so they make you strip down and they give you a little paper thing to put on, and so the dermatologist comes in and she's examining me, and she saw my little necklace here that I wear, and she says, "Well, what is that?" And I said, "That's a piece of metal that's made into a free bird." It made it look like a bird because it was part of the Lynyrd Skynyrd plane that crashed. And she goes, I got a patient that says he was on that plane. And I said, well, I know everybody that was on that plane. And I said, who was it? And she goes, I can't remember his name. And I said, well, I don't know of anybody in this area that was on that plane. I mean, I live in Winter Haven, And she said, no, this was in my Inverness office. And I go, oh, you got an office in Inverness? And she said, yeah. I said, well, that will be Gene Odom. And she goes, yeah, that's his name. How do you know him? And I told her the whole story about how I know Gene, and I told her how I met him and all that stuff. So it's a small world, and you run into stories and situations like that. But I guess Gene, he's a pretty funny character, because she said, yeah, he's quite a character. But yeah, old Gene and I have the same dermatologist. You could probably made a lamp out of all the skin grafts not grafts, all the what they call them, biopsies that they've cut off of me over the years. And she was actually showed me on her thumb where she had melanoma cut out of her thumb. Said, yeah, my husband noticed it was like just a dark line on my nail, and turned out it was melanoma. And so she said, I could have died from that. And that's, kind of hard to detect, some of that melanoma. So anyway, they sent off a biopsy. I'm sure I'll be fine. Yeah, that's a little side story about Gene Odom. Other than that, I haven't really heard from Gene lately. I need to give him a call, see if he's ready for got his house ready for that winter storm coming this way. Yeah, I hadn't heard from Gene lately. So that closes those bids on the pictures. And Craig, you're all caught up on all your bids and stuff on that, and donations. So you got anything else that you been up to lately, or that you want to mention or talk about? I think you asked me something about you're talking about that the halftime. There's going to be a Lynyrd Skynyrd on the Super Bowl halftime, a Lynyrd Skynyrd song, which I've heard from quite a few people that they're wanting to know, is Judy going to get paid for that? I'm sure she is, man.
Yeah, the Budweiser commercial.
Oh yeah, I'm sure she's going to get paid for that.
Back, yeah.
But how cool is that? Instead of some stupid woke shit, right? And so is that all you got, Craig? For
that's it. That's it for me. Yeah.
So we can jump into these comments. Craig, man, I don't know, man. There's a lot of pissed off people in the comments there. I think because of your ice hat.
I don't know what it is, but that's why I wore it again. People commented they were sick of my shit, that I was mean and they weren't coming back no more. So I was just
I mean,
if it's the hat, I just want to scare all of y'all off that are.
But
I read some comments. Somebody wrote something about y'all quit moaning and bitching.
Yeah. Well, I think that was from the last podcast. There was some bitching and moaning going on there, and but if you just joining us for the first time and you've come this far trying to figure out what the hell is going on this podcast, well, Craig Reed, he is the original Stoned Roadie, who was the original roadie for the original Lynyrd Skynyrd band, and he was there, from 74 to 77 when the plane crashed, and he was on the plane, and he ate, drank, slept, smoked, injected, did everything you can think of with that band, traveled the world with them. And he's got a lot of Skynyrd stories, and people like to write in and ask Craig questions. And, of course, Craig doesn't have the best bedside manner. He likes to talk about fat people and cigarette smokers too. And if you're fat and you like to smoke, he might poke a little fun at you. And Craig likes to tell it like it is. And there's something that you ought to know, that if your feelings get hurt real easy, you better not watch the show.
Yeah, Craig talks about fat folk and cigarette smokers too. So if you're fat and like to smoke, he might poke a little fun at you. Yeah, Craig likes telling it like it is, so it's something that you want to know. If your feelings get hurt real easy, you better not watch the show. If your feelings get hurt real easy, you better not watch the show.
So that's kind of like our disclaimer. And as you can see, Craig's got his ice hat on. He's pro ice. And we are conservatives, and we every now and then will mention stuff, pro conservative, which I don't kind of hardly see how you can really be a Lynyrd Skynyrd fan and be a liberal woke person. I guess anybody can like their music, but ask Gene Odom, who was Ronnie Van Zant's best friend. What do you think Ronnie would be if he were still alive? Would he be a woke liberal, or would he be a MAGA guy? And Gene says absolutely he would be for Trump. And Johnny Van Zant has made it clear that he is a Trump supporter. So if there's some woke people and some Democrats and liberals watching, where you're welcome to watch, and, just if your feelings get hurt real easy, then don't watch the show. And it seems like we have a few of those here in the comments. Not necessarily all of them are pissed off. I think there's one in here. They were pretty civil about stating something they didn't like, but you're welcome to continue watching, but don't get your feelings hurt, man, because Craig, man, he does tell it like it is. And he is a fat basher. He does like to talk about the fat people, and he kind of picks on women more than he does men.
I lost 80 pounds, though. We got to go to that. 2013, I was a big fat pig. I was double obese. I lost 80 pounds. So I know how disgusting it is to be like that. And I don't want to never be like that anymore. And I'm traumatized by the whole deal. So, yeah, I'm just trying to help you. And I know when you're fat and obese, you don't want to hear it. But, people will tell you you're cool, but only your best friend will tell you you're a big fat pig and you need to lose some weight for your own good. So there you go. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah, so it's there's no rhyme nor reason to some of the comments and some of the people. I think that's like Ricky Walker. One time he was watching the podcast and he'd been drinking a few beers, and there was a tribute band, actually Second Helping. We had Chris McAllister on, and he mentioned something about something that Gary Rossington did, and he didn't like it or whatever. And Ricky Walker, he loves him some Gary Rossington. So you don't pick on Gary Rossington. So he gets into comments and he says that Second Helping sucks and this and that, and they sound like shit and all of this. And his wife said, "Don't do it. Don't put that in there." And he goes, "I don't give a shit." And then the next day, he wasn't drunk anymore, and the podcast aired. And then, and then I went over the comments, and I called him a jackass, and then he apologized and made a big donation, and then we became good friends. So me and Ricky Walker, we're pretty good friends. He came to the monument. So a lot of times, the moral of the story, and the reason I mention it is that who knows? Maybe one of these jackasses in the comments might end up, I've got a theory. A lot of times you have to get in an argument with somebody before you can be good friends. And it seems like some of my best friends, I had a really bad argument with, like some of the best friends I have right now. I remember when I first met them, I think there was one guy I got in a fist fight with, and we ended up becoming pretty good friends. But yeah, so I guess you got to feel out your common ground, where you stand. So, and we welcome all the comments. We read the good ones, we read the bad ones, we read the ones that that people attacking us. We actually like those better because they're funner to read. So if you put a comment down, we go through the comments, and I pick out. I can't read it. Of course, I can't read them all. There were 90 comments, and I pick out like 20 of them and go through them on just about every podcast, unless we have a guest. And speaking of Second Helping and Chris McAllister, I'm scheduled to do a somewhat of, I guess you would call it a documentary at the end of next month. They're going to be in the Villages, and I'm going to go on the road with Griff Martin, and I'm going to do a behind the scenes on what it's like to be Second Helping tribute band, and do a rig rundown with the guys. We're going to meet all the guys in the band, and we're going to see what it takes to put on a tribute show for Lynyrd Skynyrd. Now these guys, they sell out. They've got a huge following, and so I'm gonna go there, and Gene's gonna be there, and I'm gonna videotape those guys and have a little rig rundown with some of them, and we're gonna see a little bit more about what Second Helping is about. So
they played up here. They played up here in Ohio, and they invited me to dinner, and I went down there to dinner. And the girls, when they go back at the hotel, Lord, we got such a mess. It seems that one of the crew had to go with one of the guests, and the girls go, Craig Reed.
Yeah.
They're honkettes, yeah.
Whenever Craig goes to like a tribute concert, with some kind of tribute band, they like to get him up there, and whenever they play "What's Your Name," and Craig gets up there and sings it with them,
and dances. I get up there and dance and sing with them.
Because how many people do you? I mean, think about it, man. Craig had a song written about him that Ronnie Van Zant wrote about him, and I tell you what's funny is I'll be going down the road in my car, and I'll hear that song come on, and I'll say, that freaking Craig, man, I say, here I am listening to a Lynyrd Skynyrd song with a guy in it that I do a podcast with, that crazy son of a bitch. But yeah, that's pretty cool, though, that you have a song written about you by a famous songwriter, musician. So if you are just watching for the first time, that is true. Craig had a song written about him. What's Your Name, Little Girl? That's about Craig. And I've told this story before. Craig and I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he, myself, and John Neal went there, and there was somebody else supposed to go. So they had 4 tickets at the desk, but there were only 3 of us. And I told Craig, I said, you need to give that other ticket away, instead of just letting them keep it, just give it away. And I said, he goes, to who? And I said, well, there's a nice young lady over there. It looks like she's standing in line.
Girl in college, going to college. Yeah.
I said, go give it to her. And so we walk over to her, and he goes, yeah, my name's Craig Reed. I used to work for Lynyrd Skynyrd, and I've got a free ticket here, and if you want to go in, you don't have to hang around with us. You can go be by yourself. And she's like, yeah, I love that. And then so I asked her, I go, we need to get your name. And so he told Craig her name. And so she goes over to the the girl to get our tickets, and of course Craig forgot her name, and so the lady goes, well, I need to know her name to write it on her ticket. And Craig goes, excuse me, what's your name there, little girl? And I said, that's it. That's where Ronnie got that shit from.
What was your name, little girl?
Yeah, what was your name? So
what was your name, little girl?
What Craig used to do was he would go get these, Ronnie would send him out into the audience during the shows, and Craig would pick the best looking women.
Not just Ronnie. I'd pick them up. I'd load after the band got off stage. Hell, I'd have 6 or 8 of them back there.
Yeah, and he can't remember all of them's name, and so whenever
all you got to do is go, hey man, you want to go backstage in the dressing room? And that wasn't hard. They're going, hell yeah, man.
Yeah. And so when he would. Of course, Craig said, well, how bad do you want to meet Ronnie?
That was during the day before the show.
Well, what do you mean? And he said, well, I need a little French benefit before I take you back to Ronnie. And then he said, Ronnie didn't know how many times he got sloppy seconds. So he would bring the girls back to Ronnie, and Ronnie'd say, who do we have here? And Craig go, well, what's your name there, little girl? And Ronnie would go, that's it. That's a song. And so I got to see firsthand why Ronnie wrote that song, and it just popped out right in my head whenever he said that. I was like, okay, it's kind of amazing to see firsthand how Ronnie Van Zant came up with a lyric when you got to witness that same thing happening again, so many years later. But we had a great time at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and the little girl, she appreciated it, and so I've told that story before, but I can't say I won't tell it again because it's a good story. But anyway, we'll jump into these comments and questions, and
well, I was showing this this picture here while you were jibber jabbering. I said Andreas Hawk sent us another donation. He owns this company over in Germany, and I believe that's him in the white shirt there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, some kind of a fire prevention or some place over there. Has something to do with fires. Anyway.
Well, it's pretty cool to have a guy like that over in Germany who.
Well, he owns.
Podcast,
He owns that big hotel, that resort over there. When he told Gene wanted to go to Germany, and that guy there in the white shirt owns this big resort over there. And he said, tell Gene if he comes to Germany, he's got a place to stay. So that's
I did. You did tell that to me, and I mentioned that to Gene. But Gene wanted to go back to Germany where he was stationed when he was in the Army, and he's been saving his money. And this recently, he said, "I don't." Well,
if it's kind of close to there, you don't know where that was at, but this might be close to there.
Gene doesn't feel like he's healthy enough to make that trip now. He's got neck issues and things like that. I mean, I could probably take him over there or something, but that
he's got a nice resort over there, man. It's a nice hotel and stuff.
Yeah, well, it's possible. It's possible we could get Gene over there somehow. But we got a lot of really cool people. And I can give you a little something. There might be Jesus for Survivors is working on something. I don't want to mention what it is because here lately we were talking about getting some people on the podcast, and and sometimes it don't happen. So I don't want to get people all hopped up wanting to see something and it don't happen. But Jesus for Survivors is working on something on the road with Griff Martin, which will be pretty cool if he can do that. So I'll keep you updated on that if it comes to fruition. But this coming up year, I still got to do the Joe Crimp Oak Tree You're in My Way road trip to talk about how when Joe was in the car with Gary and they hit the oak tree, or it wasn't really an oak tree, but the story behind that. So that's going to be happening pretty soon. I'm waiting on this cold weather to get out of the way. So I'm going to be doing that and then on the road. So we got a few on the roads coming up here, which if you haven't ever seen the podcast, go back and look at some of the last podcasts, and you can see sometimes I'll take my camera and I'll go on a trip and I'll go meet some people that knew the Skynyrd band and some interesting folks and do some cool things and some interviews. And I call that On the Road with Griff Martin. And so there's going to be lots more of that stuff coming up this year. I'm going to try to get more of those out this year. See how many more I can do this year. Because we want to try to keep it as interesting as we can. So I guess I'll jump into the comments and questions here. Let me see here. You start off with S.J. Good. Of course, Alan Collins. I think Alan Collins and Billy both had a death anniversary here recently.
Yeah, the 28th was
Alan Collins and Billy Powell. And S.J. Good says, hard to believe Alan has been gone 36 years. It's amazing what he accomplished in his short life. Writing some riffs at 17, he was a genius. And you'll be hearing one of his riffs on the halftime there on that. I guess they're going to be playing Freebird there for the Budweiser commercial. I saw the video. Brian Bodkin sent it to me. Pretty cool little video. But yeah, Alan Collins, he was something else. I mean, that Freebird, everybody knows Freebird. And, when you go to a concert and you see a new band and they're playing songs and they start yelling, Freebird, Freebird, there's your Alan Collins right there, man. Left a mark on the rock and roll world with that great song that he has that great lick in. Tom Way Blue. I have got to give it to Griff. He's one of the smartest, nicest, most considerate men on YouTube. Well, I appreciate that, Tom. I'm a great man doing great things for the crash survivors, and
he's the one that wanted to put the artwork on the back of the jacket, and he was.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
And he was the one that was saying Griff was saying shit about don't sell it to him, he'll ruin it and stuff. But I guess he said that it was going to go on a blue jean jacket. That it would belong to his buddy that died, and he's never washed it or nothing. And he said he'd never wash it, but he wanted it bad. But I think he got it contested to the deal.
Well, I tell you what, Tom Way Blue, being as how you were so nice, you send me your email. Or just email me at edwg59@gmail.com, and I'm going to send you a nice little packet of some stuff that for free, just because you're a nice guy for saying how nice I am. So yeah, so Tom, edwg59@gmail.com. I'm going to send you a nice little package of some cool stuff, and you just made out, buddy, by being nice to good old Griff. And that might teach you other people in here to, now, I mean, of course, I can't send everybody, but, when you genuinely say something nice to somebody, it just might get you something. So appreciate that there, Tom Way Blue. And Larry Tate, our old buddy, Dave the Disciple. That's Larry Tate, right?
Oh, yeah, that's Dave the Disciple, yeah.
He says we're talking about the Altamont Spring, where the signing, where this picture came from that Kent Griffith donated. That was the Altamont Springs in Orlando area over there where that happened. Larry Tate says, I have one of the original posters from that day in Altamont. They are very rare posters. Dave, man, if you can, take a picture of that thing, man, and send it to me, and I wouldn't mind putting it up here on the podcast for everybody to see it. I would love to see that. We would love to see that. And hey, man, thanks for coming back and commenting. We hadn't heard you in a while. We miss you, man. We love you, man. We miss you. We mean it. Dave used to, man, he's donated so many things to the podcast, all kinds of, he had a silk screening shop where he, made a lot of posters and stickers and all kinds of stuff and donated it to the podcast. And so
yeah, he sent me a bunch of pictures that go in the drawing winners package.
Yeah. So
some of those, the one of the Stone Roadie sitting on his prize Mercedes Benz, and the one with me and Gary, where I sign it, the Stone Roadie, where I got the ganja shirt on.
And he even made a bunch of these magnets, like "You're so fat."
And then there's a live one of them Fox pictures with the whole band and crew on it too. I got a whole damn refrigerator full of magnets.
Because Craig gets on Facebook, and this is one of Craig's posts on Facebook. You're so fat, I bet you think this post is about you. I think that's a Carly Simon song, isn't it? You're so fat, I bet you think this post is about you, don't you? Yeah. Good to hear from you there, Dave. Hope you're doing good, man. And don't be a stranger, and keep commenting. Michelle Lovett, great show. Loved Kent's videos. Yeah, Kent Griffith, I'm hoping, and he said he would, when there's like something that we're talking about and Craig and I can't answer questions to, or, Kent knows a little bit more because he's kind of like our expert on Skynyrd. He'll make a little video about it, and then I'll put it on the podcast. So we call that Cagey's Corner. So whenever Kent makes those videos, I'll stick them up here at the end of the podcast, and it'll be like a little excerpt of knowledge of skin formation coming out of Kent Griffith. Now, Kent Griffith hung around with he actually lived with Alan Collins for a while and helped him out when he was paralyzed, and he knew all the guys in the band. He and Ed King did not get along very well. But he knew Artimus really well. Artimus and him used to set up a lot of electronics and equipment for Artimus and go around with him. And so he knew, he didn't know Ronnie, but he knew everybody else, and it was more post-plane crash stuff. So, we appreciate Kent and everything he does for the podcast. Then Shelman Brandon. Griff, that is a crazy story about being stuck in the boat with your dad. I think he would be proud of you and the podcast that you're doing. That Stranded at Sea, I didn't go into detail in that story but there was a lot more to it than that. That movie Jaws is kind of real, because that shark that my dad chopped with the outboard prop, he would not go away. That shark was like, the entire time we were drifting, he stayed with the boat. He was like, he would come back. Like, he'd be gone for a couple hours, and he'd come back, and he he hung around that boat, and
Well, you had fish guts steeping out of the back of it, though.
well, after a while, we washed all of that out. But because I had, when you're seasick, and I was seasick damn near the entire time, and I wanted to get in the water and cool off. And when you get in the water, you're not likely to be seasick as bad because you're not bobbing around like a bobber. You're more part of the water instead of being on the water. And so I remember the shark was gone for quite some time, and I got in the water and I was laying there and I felt like I was going to die. That's how bad it was. And I was out there with a one of those orange life preservers, and I never forget. My dad said, "Get in the boat," and I said, "Why?" And he said, "Don't argue with me. Just get in the damn boat." And I never forget. I felt something on my back, and I looked over behind my back. And you ever heard of a remora fish? It's like a fish. They stick on like sharks, and they hitchhike. They call them hitchhikers, and they hitch a ride on the shark. They got like a suction.
I've heard of those, yeah.
Yeah, and they I guess they clean, the shark or whatever. But that shark swam right by me, so close, and that remora jumped off of that shark and jumped on me. And I was like, what the hell is that? And then I turned around, I saw that fin. And by that time, my dad reached in and grabbed a hold of that life preserver and just yanked my ass in the boat. So that's right then and there that I really knew that my dad loved me, and he didn't want to see. He didn't want to see me because he could have let that shark eat me. Because my entire childhood, I always thought my father was trying to kill me. He was always doing stuff to me. But yeah, he saved me from that shark. That shark was cruising around. But yeah, there was more to that story. All right, on to the next comment. Monica Buffington. I wish everyone would quit bitching and moaning. Please don't ruin it for the rest of us that are trying to enjoy the podcast. Yeah, that's probably somebody was bitching on in the comments in the last podcast. But yeah, there's haters no matter what you do, man. You could raise money for plane crash survivors, and there's going to be people that are going to be, crying about it, like Artimus Pyle. How he says that Craig sells his underwear.
Well, Craig sells our underwear, man. So people that I thought were friends that sell our bones, right? I don't know. I mean, they got no use for me. I got no use for them.
So every time we mention that, I like to play that little.
I wouldn't get too much out of his. I'd get a lot out of Ronnie's, though.
I don't. I was gonna when the last time Gene was at my house, I said, Gene, man, there's this thing Artimus is saying about Craig selling his underwear. I said, let me go get a pair of my old underwear that I use for a rag, and then I'll give them to you, and then I'll let you say, Griff said that underwear is selling real good on the podcast, so I brought a pair of mine, and I said, let's do that, Gene. He goes, I ain't doing shit like that involving myself with that damn Artimus. I don't want anything to do with underwear and Artimus. So some things Gene will do, some things he won't do, which I thought was pretty funny. What's that beeping noise, Craig?
Oh, I had to take the phone off the hook so nobody would call.
Can you stop it?
It'll stop in a minute.
And Bobby Peak. I read an article today where Budweiser commercial is going to be, where they're going to be playing Freebird on the halftime at the Super Bowl. Yeah, Yeah, that's she says, do you think Judy is getting anything out of that? Well, I guarantee you she is. And it's probably a
Well, of
lot.
course she is.
I wonder how much she's getting for that, Craig. A halftime
Ed
speaker or
King
something?
bought a house from Alabama, used in podcast from. He said, "Fried chicken bought me my house."
Yeah. So I guarantee you. I mean, we're talking. I wouldn't doubt if it wouldn't be like
It
couple
just
hundred
depends how
thousand.
long it's played. You know how many
I
times.
mean,
It's
it
played.
wouldn't
I don't know.
surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if it was a couple 100,000. You
Well,
know,
yeah, I bet it is. Yeah.
I would think. And here's our old buddy, the Wing Nut, and he's got some nice things to say here. Well, boys, I hate to break it to you. Like a record company, you're losing your bullets and subscribers. Your performance is lacking. The Clan and I have given it the benefit of the doubt, but you're not producing and you aren't bringing enough reputable interviews to the podcast. He says, we're going to shut it down due to Craig's hate of people that he's steering people away from the podcast. What do you mean your clan? What? You got a clan of people that
That
are
guy, man, he
you
was
know?
following me around. Everything I did, he had to comment on it. I finally unfriended him.
Well,
And then he was telling me I was talking shit about the flat Earth, and he goes, "I know the Earth is a sphere. I sent a rocket ship up with a camera on it, and I said, I want to see the pictures. I said, I don't want to see pictures of anything just high. I want to see you with a picture of that rocket and you launching it. If you really did that, you would have that picture." And then he goes, "I'm in my truck. I can't do it now. I'll get it when I get home." And it was about a week later, and he was smarting off about something. I said, "I never have seen that picture of you with the rocket ship yet." And then he sent a picture of something in the air it looked like it was about 200 feet in the air. Lord knows what it was, or if it was even his picture, but it sure wasn't him with a picture of him in that rocket ship. And, the guy's...
he's a wing nut. Well, and
he's one of them people that says if he says something, it's true.
Well,
People
he
should
says
believe
that
him.
we're losing subscribers. We don't have a lot of subscribers, but we're not losing any. We're slowly gaining.
Yeah, we were 23 or something like that
Yeah,
just a few months,
it's not a
24, and
lot.
we're up to 27, almost 28 now.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
not
we
a
should
lot.
have more. Yeah, we should.
It's not a lot, but we're not losing any. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of new people here in the comments here that I've never heard of, like Mark Dockery and Curtis Boise and Ann Mitchell and Alan Titus. And yeah, there's people in these comments that are actually new listeners, which reminds me, and thank you, Wingnut, for being such a jackass and mentioning it. If anybody is watching, please subscribe to the Stone Roadie Show, because the money that we get, which is not a lot at this point in time, from the monetization from the podcast, goes directly to 5 of the plane crash survivors that are still alive and struggling with their injuries. The forgotten plane crash survivors get the money. So, so Wingnut, shame on you, man, for unsubscribing. You claim you like Lynyrd Skynyrd and you're unsubscribing, taking the money away from the plane crash survivors because you're unsubscribing. What a jackass you are, my
Oh,
friend.
he posted something on one of the things I posted on FakeBook, and people were telling me to block him.
Yeah, well, why
block that asshole?
Why don't you just quit watching and leave and stay subscribed? Why do you have to unsubscribe? Why do you have to
quit commenting
your
your stupid shit on my damn posts on FakeBook?
Yeah, and you're not going anywhere anyway. You're watching this right now, man. But you know what? If you want to apologize, I'll send you a sticker. If you apologize, I'll send you a signed sticker signed by Craig and Gene if you apologize.
Oh yeah, he was
I might rub it on my boys when I put it before I put it in the envelope. I might teabag it before I put it in the envelope. But you can wipe it off with some alcohol when you get it.
He was giving me shit about talking about the flat Earth. I was wondering what these people out there think about why the government hides the fact that there used to be giants roaming the face of this flat Earth. You know, they're digging up bones, all these great big giants they said, God, there used to be giants that were 60 feet tall or whatever. I don't know exactly how much, but you know, David and Goliath, that was in the Bible. You know, I'm not a Bible thumper.
Well, look at all the Tartarian structures that have these big
big
doors for the giants.
Yeah, you know, I wonder why the government hides the fact that there were giants that once roamed. You know, that's like all those great big trees that they're mountains, but they look like trees. People are trying to expose that, but I don't know. They really hide the fact that there were giants that once roamed the face of the earth. I guess it would kind of debunk the fact the theory of evolution. If there was big giants, I guess that would debunk. You know, but if people want to believe that they were once a monkey, I guess a lot of you might be. I don't know. Maybe you're right.
Well, you know, when people, and
I don't believe I was once a monkey.
Like I had my NASA hat on the other day, and I was in the grocery store, and the bag boy kid goes, he says, do you work for NASA? And I said, yeah, 35 years. And then he goes, and everybody asks me the same thing every time. Did we really go to the moon? And I go, and I tell them, no. I said, no, we didn't. And they you know, and they believe me because, you know, like I'm, you know, what just because I worked there for 35 years, I know. And I say no. And I actually tell them the story about when I met Neil Armstrong and I was asking him questions and he didn't want to talk about it, that's a true story. You know, Neil Armstrong did not want to talk about going to the moon when I asked him questions about it. And that for me kind of like made me really lean more towards, yeah, we didn't do that. But right along that lines, Jeff, Griff, were you working for NASA when Challenger exploded? No, I was actually gonna go to work for at Kennedy Space Center, and then Challenger blew up, and they didn't hire me. That killed my job getting on, and that was in 1986. And at the time, I was working for Grumman Aircraft on the refurbing A6 tankers and A4 fighters in St. Augustine, and I was out on the flight line and I saw it blow up, and it was cold as hell out there on that flight line, and I saw the shuttle take off, and I saw it split and go in two different directions, and I told all those guys out there, I said, that something ain't right, and they go, yeah, what's up with that? And I said, I think that thing just blew up. But I did get to see it blow up, but there's people that think there wasn't anybody on that shuttle when it blew up, and I kind of don't doubt it. So you never know the way our government hides stuff.
Well, there was an escape elevator that nobody could see, wasn't there?
And here's another guy, Mark Dockery. This shit is nothing but garbage. I'm unsubscribing. Well, so what? You know? I'm not going to go lose any sleep over you there, Mark Dockery. You know, I mean, what? Who does that anyway? Like if I'm on YouTube and I'm watching something and I go, this sucks. I just change it. I don't get on there and comment.
We have a lot of people like it that like us, like Andreas Hawk from Germany.
Yeah. I mean, who comments, you know, that they don't like something and then they unsubscribe? Well, you know, I mean, just don't watch it anymore. You ain't got to be all pissed off.
Really?
Curtis Boise, Griff, there's a lady on Facebook is selling your Hell House shirt. She is on Skynyrd Nation on Facebook. You know, if you Google Hell House T-shirt, there's about 15 companies selling my shirt.
No kidding.
Yeah, there's a bunch. You can't stop it, man. They got it. I mean, there's so many Hell House posters and things out there with my painting on it, and they're making a small fortune off of that. But there's really nothing I can do. So what I try to do there, Curtis, is just be flattered by it. You know, I'm flattered that they like it so much.
Imitation is the best form of flattery.
Yeah, more power to them. If they want to sell my shirt, go ahead, man. You know, it's not going to be as good as I don't even sell the shirts. I don't even sell my Hell House painting on anything. You know, so.
Wonder if anybody will copy my "In My Opinion" shirt.
Yeah. Well, you know, you're a political asshole, Craig. So, but you know, you got your ice hat on. I wish I had an ice hat. I'd wear that son of a bitch all over the place.
There's a shitload of liberals that live here in Greene. I think a lot of the city
everywhere.
council here. A lot of the city council here are freaking Democrats, man.
And that's why Mr. T's bringing back the mental wards. You know, he says we need to get these mental wards up and running again.
I went to one of the class reunion things, and they had some woman that got up, a speaker, got up and was speaking and was quoting out of Michelle Obama's book. I about threw up.
Here's another one. Anne Michelle, losing interest due to you Nazi political opinions. When did we say something? I don't even remember.
We're Nazis because we're conservative. We're Nazis.
It's got to be your hat.
All those Democrats, that's a word they love to throw around. You're a Nazi. You're a racist.
But we didn't talk about anything on the last podcast political. You just had your ice hat on. I don't know.
They invent stuff. They got TDS so bad they invent things, man. TDS is a mental illness. You're witnessing it right
here on
the
really
Stone
understand.
Roadie show.
I have a hard time understanding why you don't want to get illegal murdering rapist.
And they say they say they're out there demonstrating for our freedom. How in the hell are they? They're brainwashed, man. They're
why do you not want?
They're mental.
They say they're arresting innocent people. If ICE came up and arrested me, you know, and put me in handcuffs, I'm not going to fight them. I'm just going to go, okay, man, you got the wrong guy, but you know, I'm sure you'll figure it out. I guarantee you. I just know that they're not going to arrest me. And if they came in my neighborhood, I would go in the house and watch TV. I wouldn't be hanging around kicking taillights off of cars and with a pistol in my belt and spitting on people that are trying to get rid of immigrants. Why would you do that? That's like, like hanging around. Like that's like jumping in a lake full of piranha and then getting pissed off if they bite you. It's like it doesn't make any damn sense, man. But I'm a rational thinker, and I guess there's a lot of people that are mentally ill in the world, and I mean, I'm sure, there's, I do feel like the ICE guys did get a little overzealous, and when they shot the lady in the neck and they killed the guy, I feel like they could have arrested him without killing him. I really do. I think what happened with the guy that had the gun, I heard, those Sig Sauer pistols. They're like
they don't have a safety on them.
They got a hair trigger, and I think when they pulled that pistol out of his belt, it went off, and the other guy heard it, and he thought that he was shooting, and they just unloaded on him. But hey, you put yourself in a position where you could get hurt, and you got hurt. And then Alan Titus says, Craig, you got it wrong, man. It was not Lake Erie where the Edmund Fitzgerald went down. It was Lake Superior.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah, I saw that one. They said Lake Erie is so dangerous because it's shallower than the rest of them, I guess.
Yeah, so that's right. Lake Superior is where the Edmund Fitzgerald went down.
Oh, well. I've been wrong before. I've been married 5 times.
Right. I mean, we definitely get stuff wrong on the podcast all the time.
I'm not ashamed to admit I was wrong.
The only thing we don't get wrong is when it comes to politics.
I'm wrong a lot.
We're not wrong on the politics part, though. Kimmy, we love you, Kimmy. We're glad when you comment. She says, Griff, I loved your stranded at sea story. What a great story. Well, if you like that story, then let me know if you want to hear the story about the country singer that I was talking about. So just put in the comments if you want to hear that story. Tom Way Blue. I don't agree with some of your opinions. Maybe you will consider other opinions. Bless you. Now that's the way you complain right there. Tom Way Blue, you're right, man. We're open to if anything. If you want to comment on there something that you don't like or whatever, but if it's taken up for some woke folk, we're just not going to agree with it. That's just the way it is. Chip Crewy. Kent is the shit. Always has the inside scoop. Yeah, old Kent Griffith, he's got a lot of good skin information. And if you ever see KG in the comments, make sure you read the full reply to the comments with KG. He's got the real deal, good information. I've never really heard him comment on anything where it could be scrutinized because he was around a lot of that stuff. So, we kind of like KG's kind of like our factarian guy. And then Brian Gibbons wants to know, Craig, that grandma that played the harmonica, do you have a picture of her?
You know what? I'm going to call my buddy and get a picture of Grandma. I'm sure I was going to do it today. I was fighting alligators today.
Yeah, see if you can get and then while you're at it, in a couple months, see if they want to donate that harmonica or raffle.
Oh, yeah.
Auction it off. See if they want to auction it off. They can make some money off of that thing.
She might.
Paul Vale says there's a picture of Ronnie holding an acoustic guitar, and I know what picture he's talking about. He said, did Ronnie play guitar and try to use it to write music? Also, was anyone in the band sloppy. How did they keep their room? Was there anybody? I'd say Craig was probably pretty sloppy, but
I was pretty sloppy. Alan was sloppy. Billy was sloppy. Leon was sloppy.
Were they? Were they throwing shit around in the room?
Yeah. Yeah.
What about Alan? Did Alan have a maid at his house?
He had housekeeper.
He had to.
Yeah, he had housekeeper. He was pretty sloppy.
He had to have a housekeeper.
Yeah,
no damn doubt about it. How did he treat the housekeeper? Was he like,
Well, his housekeeper was Kathy's niece.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. His wife Kathy's niece. I forget her name, man.
What did Alan do like when he was around the house? He just like sit around and watch TV.
Sat in his chair. He had a chair. He had an Archie Bunker chair.
Yeah. Watch TV.
Yeah. Old beat up chair, man. Yeah.
Damn, just think if you still had that chair.
Oh God, chair. Yeah. There was more shit spilled in that chair.
Oh God, I bet there's freaking weed and coke.
Oh God,
and all kinds of stuff in there.
Yeah, there was all kind of shit in that chair.
Old Kathy, she probably sat in that chair. Old Kathy,
I doubt it.
Yeah, he was probably in it.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I remember Kathy told the story. She wanted to take a picture with him, and she was kind of like taking her time. And Alan said, "If you want this picture, you better hurry up."
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So and then no. As far as the Ronnie playing guitar, he played guitar probably as good as his brother.
Yeah, but Ronnie would pick up a guitar and sing to it. Yeah, you would know that's kind of hard to do. Play guitar and sing at the same time. It's like rubbing your
Well,
belly.
it depends. Like if you're playing guitar and you're just like using bar chords and cowboy chords and things like that, it's not that hard. But when you start like playing licks while you're singing and stuff, it's it takes a little getting used to be able to sing and play at the same time. It is a coordination thing, especially if you're a finger style picker. Like you're not, where you're just using your entire hand, finger style. And then they're trying to some of these artists that been around a long time.
Toy Caldwell played with his fingers and sang.
He played with his thumb.
Yeah,
he had a crazy way of playing with his thumb. And here's the last comment. Morning Mary. Craig, were you there when Ronnie cut Gary's hands, and why did he do it?
I didn't witness him do it, but I was in the hallway. Both Artimus and me were in the hallway. And when it happened, we heard all this commotion going on, and both me and Artimus ran in the room just about the same time. And John Butler, the acting road manager, was holding his head where Ronnie busted that bottle over his head.
Oh, so he busted it over somebody's head, and then he used
John Butler. He busted that bottle over John Butler's head, and then turned the broken bottle on Gary, and cut his hands up bad, man.
Why did he do it?
I wasn't there to witness it. I didn't actually. Gary pissed him off somehow. I don't know. Gary said, Ronnie said, "I cut you. You'll never play again," or something. I don't know. Maybe Gary messed up or something, but He said, I don't know. That was 50 years ago, man. God, I mean, I was there and it happened, but
Where was
and
it?
then
Was it Germany?
Ron Eckerman come running in, and they took Ronnie and Gary out of the room, and Gary was bleeding all over the place, and Gary's room was up the stairs, and they had to replace all the carpet in that room and in the hallway and up the stairs. It cost them a lot of money. They had to replace. It was one of those old hotels.
What was that in Germany?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
Well, was anybody else?
And that was when Ed King was gone, and it was just Alan and Gary were trying to do all those parts, and Gary, they missed. Gary his hand was all damn bandaged up, and he only had a couple of fingers, and he played, and he was in pain, man. I could see the pain in his face, man. That man went through some pain, but they played. Gary,
did he have a lot of stitches in his hand?
His hand was all cut up. It was this hand, and his finger, his playing hand, and he was playing with a couple fingers. It was bad, man. He was in pain.
Is there anybody that's still around that you know of that was there?
John Butler was dead. Ron Eckerman's dead. Just Artimus would remember. Everybody's dead.
Well, if we could get Artimus to not be pissed off about you selling his underwear, maybe we could get him to tell the story. Maybe he remembers.
Yeah, he probably does. Yeah.
Okay, well, that concludes the comments and questions, and thank you everybody for even the people that were jackasses commenting and unsubscribing. When you unsubscribe, you take the money out of the survivor's mouth, the food out of their mouth. So don't do that, man. Just quit watching. Don't unsubscribe. That's mean. We don't care for us. It's for the survivors. You don't want to. They didn't do anything to you.
Yep.
Craig did, and I did, but they didn't do anything. So
I'm a survivor.
But you don't collect the money. You don't.
No.
Well, you do. You do pocket the money.
I talked to Clayton Johnson the other day because I told him I've been talking about him on these letters of authenticity are going to have his name on them. We're going to do 50 of them letters of authenticity, and that's all we're going to do. There'll only be 50 of those. So if you want one of those 50, that's all there's going to be. So the stickers, this is a rare sticker. That's what Clayton told me too when I talked to him. He goes, "That's a rare sticker, man."
Do you have one of those stickers there? Do you have the prison art? Just show everybody.
Well,
before we close, what they can get with a letter of authenticity. It's $100 for the sticker and the letter, right, Greg?
Yeah, this is the sticker. Well, this is the prison art. But
that's what the sticker looks like.
That's the same sticker, yeah.
And it's a 5x5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the guy that was in prison, he drew that from the sticker. So you get a sticker and a letter of authenticity for $100, and it's a new old stock sticker. What year?
It's from '77. It was a Bill Graham thing. In the next podcast, I got a letter of authenticity I wrote up for Brian Marshall because he was number one, and I didn't have one wrote up, and I meant to do it, but I just forgot. Didn't slip my mind.
Yes.
But anyways, yeah. We'll do that.
All right. Well, let's wrap her up, Craig. This is the conclusion to another podcast.
All right.
349? Is that 349?
349, yeah.
Okay.
And we don't have no videos at the end of this, right?
No. No.
All right, podcast 349 is Stone Roadie Show. And yeah, we're out of here. And happy Groundhog's Day. And we'll see what the old groundhog had to say for us this year. And happy birthday to me, late alligator, at the Wild Crocodile. And happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep token until then. We're out of here.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails